Hey, my name is Tim Sae Koo, a recovering Type A and aspiring Type B heart-led leader. After selling my first tech startup in Silicon Valley due to personal misalignment in 2018, I am now backpacking around the world for a year with the intentions of healing myself, recharging my battery, and seeking what problem pains my heart to see exist. I'm here to take you on my journey, to stay in touch with you all, and share my learnings to open up new gateways of inspiration and awareness. Hey everybody, greetings from Costa Rica. Freaking beautiful place with such green, lush forestry and nature all around. Wanted to really start and kick off this video series by saying how excited I am to take you on my adventure as I backpack around the world. So for my first week, I flew out of Los Angeles and flew right to San Jose in Costa Rica. This past week has been truly transformational for me in so many ways. And why that's the case is because I decided to spend my New Year's and a few days afterwards with this group called One Heart. One Heart is a human accelerator for successful leaders to transform into heart-led leaders. And what does that mean? It means supporting these amazing entrepreneurs who, like me, was a Type A, who was burnt out, who did not find fulfillment in what they did in their successful ventures, and really help them find that alignment with a greater purpose and lead from the heart. And what even made it more special was we all committed to taking and drinking this sacred plant medicine called ayahuasca. Now, this wasn't my first time. It's been around my fifth where you drink this plant medicine and you go into this insanely spiritual journey. And they say a lot of times to really surrender and really trust and let go. And that was something very, very difficult for me. As a previous entrepreneur, would love to control things, but we forget sometimes the most powerful thing is to drop into the heart and feel. So as we got to the place of where we were at for about a week, which is this beautiful, beautiful place called Quincada in Perez Zeledon in Costa Rica, you can just see so much beautiful, intentional love that was built into that land. Recently I heard this quote, it's like, we don't own land, we buy it to protect it. And I love that. And when I was at this place, I really felt that. In the evening, on the first night, we did a connection ceremony. And this connection ceremony was really special because before we went on this ayahuasca ceremony, we were asked to really prep and journal down fears and self-limiting beliefs that we were holding. We built a fire in the middle and tossed all of our fears, self-limiting beliefs, and really, really feeling into that, of what that can feel like to let it burn.
Imagine if industry just had to obey.
So on day two, we opened the day with some beautiful yoga and meditation from this special teacher named Pablo. And there was a really beautiful quote of what he shared when we were sort of in pain, or most of us were in pain of this one stance, to really breathe through that pain. And it was such a profound nugget of wisdom for so many people, because that would be what they would take into the ceremony. With whatever fear and whatever pain arose, we know that we could always survive by breathing through it. Then we proceeded to have this plant medicine, we'll call it a 101 information session. As much as there's this beautiful ancient modality that's being offered to us, it's best that we always stay grounded and educate ourselves. Afterwards, we explored another group workshop, and this one I really liked because we paired off into twos and asked ourselves the question, what's one thing in our life that we can surrender? And if we did truly surrender, could we experience a breakthrough in our life? We had some break afterwards and really started to journal down what my intention was for the first night ceremony, which I asked what we call Mother Ayahuasca to show me what oneness could feel like and showing me the oneness with God. And as ceremony began, I meditated continually on that intention, and I remembered continually thinking in my mind. I was in my mind. And as the ceremony progressed, it was bothering me that I was just always in my mind. I realized that I was in my mind. And when I caught myself finally, maybe after 30 minutes, I told myself to drop into feeling, to stop thinking and to start feeling. And then the medicine kicked in and brought me into this world with sacred geometry, lights everywhere, and this like complex city, I called it. After that experience, I actually talked to someone, and what I've come to believe is what they call this network of oneness. While I thought it was a complex city that was all interconnected, what I actually feel like I saw was this network of oneness, and behind the scenes is all this complex architecture that's happening, but what we see and feel can be so simple if we can accept that there is oneness. And then the other profound thing that I took away from my first ceremony was realizing that before I can really understand what oneness meant with God, I grew up a Christian, but left the church, and now opened up again to revisiting that. I remembered and thought that maybe to really understand oneness with God, I first needed to re-invite Him back into my life. I'm willing to pray more, and I will be praying more, and actually I have been praying more after those ceremonies, to re-invite Him, to really understand what oneness means, and oneness means with humanity and with God. I feel like I got a glimpse and took the first steps to open up to understanding what oneness meant. On day 3, we explored some time with sharing our experiences from the previous evening's ceremony. What I took away was this understanding that there's always a lesson in whatever experience we go through. Should we be open to that and ask what the lesson is and listen to that? And afterwards, we had another workshop. And this workshop really revolved around alignment. Alignment in what we do in this world. We started it by asking who does what they love and who does what they do not love. And those who do what they love, please share your story of how you got there and what are the feelings that you feel right now when you know you're doing what you love. And we did the same for those who are doing what they do not love. And I encourage you and invite you to do the same thing, to write this list of remembering if you've ever had these times doing what you love and writing down these feelings and emotions, and on the other side of not doing something that you don't love. And you can see for yourself very clearly, when you know that you're doing what you love, you will feel these and you will not feel these. And that's when you can start to take these steps into feeling this alignment and knowing you are doing what you are meant to do on this earth. So the first ceremony was New Year's Eve, and now this is the second night to go into ceremony, which is on New Year's Day. And it was really special because my intention going into the second night was asking the medicine, where do I need to heal myself and work on myself for this upcoming year? You know, I spent the last 6-7 years working on my company to the point where I can sell it, and just been focusing on others, really taking care of the employees, the customers, just everyone around me. But for once, I started to ask, what do I need to work on myself and healing myself? And the essence of the experience was a strong, strong feeling and like reminder that it starts with self-care and self-love. That if I'm going to actually service and manifest this purpose of service, I have to have the battery to do so. And it's challenging for me to accept that because I know how much issues exist around this world, and we have this only one lifetime to finish everything we can as quickly as possible. And so what that meant for integration was really around slowing down my day, at least for this year, and dropping into my feelings to understand what my body, my mind, my soul may need for that day. And I remember tapping over my heart like this for a good hour or so as the physical reminder behavior to do whenever I feel like I'm forgetting to self-care and self-love myself. Now, coming to day 4, we have a break, finally. It's a lot of work, this plant medicine. We had a beautiful experience to go into Temescal, which is sort of a traditional sweat lodge. It was beautifully built by this man named Jaguar in our group. A Temescal is a type of sweat lodge which originated with pre-Hispanic indigenous peoples in Mesoamerica. In ancient Mesoamerica, it was used as part of a curative ceremony thought to purify the body after exertion, such as after a battle or ceremonial ball game. It was also used for healing the sick, improving health, and for women to give birth, which is another healing modality that you can work on yourself to go through and shed anything you need to. As we approach day 5, we would be doing a day ceremony. Usually, these ceremonies, ayahuasca ceremonies, are done in the evening, but we were able to experience a day ceremony starting at 8 a.m. And I've never done that before, so I was very open to it. But I can confidently say that that was an insanely beautiful experience to go through and hit my breakthrough. My intention going into the 3rd ceremony, daytime ceremony, was how to love more. So as we begun our ceremony, I knew I wasn't afraid of the medicine and the pain because I knew and I chose to believe that good or bad, there was always a lesson so long as we believed and looked for it and listened to it. And for the first time, I really felt what surrender meant. Surrender meant trusting and then letting go. Anytime any fear, any doubt, any control would arise, you trust that there's something greater for you, and then you let go. Trust and let go. And as I begun to do so, these 2 words popped up: invite and honor. If I want to learn how to love more, I need to practice inviting and honoring more. Inviting God back into my life, inviting my mom more into my life, inviting my family into my life, friends, loved ones, partners, the magic all around us, spirituality, learning lessons, the universe, just inviting all of that more into my life. And then honoring that, honoring the beauty that swims around us, and then honoring people's time and presence and their love, honoring all. I thought about surrendering is act 1, inviting is act 2, and honoring is act 3. There's so much more that I can share about this. My line is open, my email is open to just share more with you in case you're walking a similar path or interested in learning more about my experience. I remember after the 3rd ceremony, a guy came up to me and said, "I know your superpower." And he was saying, "You help bring inner peace to those around you." And I was so touched by that. And it was just so funny to hear that because 2 nights before, one of my good friends who also joined me in this experience, she mentioned that she saw my past life was a Buddhist monk. And I just giggled. It was so special to see how things could be connected when I'm out of thinking in my mind constantly and really just inviting the magic all around us to manifest more and more. We were able to top off the rest of the week with some beautiful, just childlike adventures. We went to some beautiful waterfalls and just immersed in the beauty Mother Nature provides us. Then went to go zipline to see all of Costa Rica from above. And then as we were riding the bus, we shared our eulogy after going through 3 days of what they call ego death. And my eulogy was really around honoring the continual death of Tim Sae Koo, shedding the layers that aren't needed, and really honoring myself, my old self, for going through that death to be rebirthed to understanding this new self. And I committed in that eulogy and vowed that I would take on the continual work of the past Tim Sae Koo by inviting and honoring more into my life. On the last day, we were able to do something truly special. From the inspiration of one of our tribe members, he had mentioned that when he goes to a different country, he would donate supplies to a local shelter. And I encourage and invite all of you to do so whenever you go to a different country. Just buy a few supplies, maybe school supplies, and donate to a local shelter in that country. Because it touched my heart. These kids don't have a lucky hand that they were dealt with. And I sent them this one message. Even though you may never meet or see the people who gave this to you, just know that they send you all their love. And we hope that as you feel this love that is shared with you, you can share this love with those around you. And so the cycle continues. So as we closed off the whole week, we gathered all together and shared what we would want to integrate back into our lives and commit to servicing this kind of experience for others in the future. And as we went through the room, the gifts that people are offering to support this experience for other aspiring heart-led leaders was so phenomenal. People were committing 1% of their profit to One Heart. People were raising their hands saying, whatever you need in operations, I'm there. Or others had superpowers with storytelling and they want to share that. And so that was my week, a truly transformative week. The big learning lesson I took away was how can we start to think less and feel more? How can we surrender more and control less? And how can we just invite and honor more into our lives? And as I continue this year-long backpacking journey, as I continue to heal, rest, and seek, I know that intertwined in all that will be this act of inviting and honoring more into my life. And I invite you to share in the comments below what you can invite more into your life and what you can honor more into your life. Stay tuned for next week as I head out to the west coast of Costa Rica and share a little bit about some properties that the One Heart group and myself are considering purchasing to have a home for these experiences to continually foster. Sending you all my love from Costa Rica and honoring the time you shared with me today. Thanks.